Welcome to New Day. Thanks for being here at the Northport campus today. I'm the only one here, so I'm the campus pastor right now, I suppose, and the greeter. Come on in. All right, I see you have kids. Come on over here. I'll get you checked in. I'm the children's check-in person as well today. And let's see, I forgot to get the iPads out. Well, I'll tell you what, just tell me your kids' names. I'll try to remember. All right, so I see you have a cruiser, so we're going to put her in the cribbers, crawlers, and cruisers class. This is a great place for her, so we should bring her on in here. And Sam, what are you doing in here? Are you the teacher?
Uh,
You're just he's.
yes.
All right, you're a first timer. Come on up here to starting point. I got a gift for you right here that I put together a couple hours ago, just in case we had a first timer. Oh, hold on. I got to go clean up a mess. I think I just heard Sam throw up his goldfish in the cruiser's room. All right, let me help you find a seat. Actually, just sit anywhere. I got to get the lights turned up. It's too dark in here. All right, let me see. Oh, I don't remember how to do this. Did that do anything? Oh, we're going the wrong direction. You know what? This is great. Okay. All right. Just go ahead and find your seat and we'll keep going. Great to have everybody for worship today. Would you please stand, and we're gonna sing some great songs of worship to the Lord. Oh yeah, that's me too. All righty. Hold on just a second. No idea if this is. All right, sing this with me. I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice. Do you see? You know the song? Are the words on the screen? Nobody's doing words. I tell you what, we'll just keep trying to go through. Amen. Okay, you may be seated. All right, we're going to have the preaching of God's word now. I forgot my podium. Where is it? Where's the podium? Oh, forgot where I left it. Okay. I don't have any notes. I don't remember where I put my notes. This is so ridiculous. Well, obviously, one person can't do it all. It takes a team that's all in. Thank you for joining us in this particular format. You know, our goal is to have two gatherings of our volunteers every year, one in the early fall and one at the end of the year. The first one is really meant to rally the troops and lay the vision for the year, and you get your new t-shirt and all that. And then at the end of the year, we typically have a kudos event. We thank you, invite your kids, and we have a great time together. So this was supposed to be that beginning of the year volunteer charge, and we tried to plan it at Port Charlotte a couple times, and two different hurricanes messed that up. So we thought, you know what, we're just going to come to you rather than try to rally for another event. So I hope you enjoy this format. I thank you so much for all that you do serving the church. I love that old story. You've heard me tell it before about the man who was touring a cathedral site where they were building this great cathedral in Europe. And he came upon a construction worker. He said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm laying bricks." He came upon a second man. He said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm building a wall." He came upon a third man. He said, "What are you doing?" And the third man said, "I'm building a cathedral." I hope you understand your role in the whole as we build the church together by God's grace and by His power. You're not just opening a door or cleaning up a mess or greeting someone or seating someone or turning on the lights or bringing out the podium. You're helping to build a great church. And God is doing amazing things at New Day. I'm so thankful that we've been able to see fruit from our labor together. This year, 2024, our weekly in-person attendance is up 13% over last year. We're averaging over 2,500 people at our campuses. We're, again, one of the fastest growing churches in America. And that's significant because we've been one of the fastest growing for, I think, 4 years in a row now. And it's hard to continue growing at that pace, but God is doing so many things. The Northport campus is averaging over 400 people every weekend, a 6% growth over their attendance in 2023, which is phenomenal because usually when you open up, you see a bunch of people come and then they may filter down. That's not happened. We've continued to grow at Northport. Amazing. Our children's ministry's up. Our student ministry's up. All of our ministries across the board are up. But my favorite stat, of course, for 2024 to date we've had over 300 baptisms, including about 50 baptisms at the Northport campus. Probably my favorite story, my own personal story. We have a young man from the football team, Porchard High School. We call him DQ. And DQ is living with us right now for reasons from his family background, living at my home for the school year. He's a senior at Porchard High School. And the reason we got connected to him is because he was showing interest in being baptized. And that's how I got to know him and his story. And he needed a place to live. And shortly after we got to know him, I got to baptize him into Christ. And I'm just so excited about what God's doing in his life. So many stories. And you know what? There's so many more stories that need to be told. We cannot rest as long as there's one more person that we could reach for Christ. We have that calling from Christ to find one more lost sheep. And so thank you for helping us reach one more for Christ and for doing it together as a team that's all in. I can't think of a greater calling. I often think of this verse from the book of Psalms. Better is one day in your house than 1,000 elsewhere. Where else would you want to be than in the church? The next time you get discouraged, you get fatigued, I hope you'll remember you and I are part of something special. It's worth the sacrifice. I hope you enjoy every minute of it and never miss the glory. Well, understanding why you serve is important. I wanted to start with that, and that will change how you serve. And so I know Sam wants to address you and just inspire you to be great servants this year. And thanks again for joining us.
What is one of the best things you can do to advance the message of Jesus in a world like ours? And 1 Peter, the Apostle Peter, wrote to the early church to help address this very thing. Nero was the emperor of Rome and became an absolute persecuting terror to Christians. And so Peter writes to these early Christians to give them courage in the face of adversities. How can they continue to advance the message of Jesus in a world that doesn't know him? While Peter gave the early church a lot of encouragement in a world that was hostile to them, Peter also gave them some instructions, a next step for these Christians. In 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 10, he wrote, "Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms." Peter conveys these three things to Christians. Number one, he says, use your gifts. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received. That means that God gave you a gift. From attention to detail to being big and vision-oriented, from faithful follower to courageous leader, from mopping and cleaning to baptizing and teaching, God gave you a gift to use. Now, the reason you're part of this Serve kickoff event is because you are serving. You are using that gift. And so I want to say thank you for that. But I also want to challenge you. Are you truly using that gift to its fullest potential? Are you maximizing your impact with it? Is there a gift that you have that you're not using? In this next year, let's commit to using whatever gift God has given us. Now, secondly, we should use that gift to serve others. Peter says, use it to serve others. Whatever gift we've been given, we use it to serve others. God didn't give us that gift for ourselves. He gave us that gift to serve someone else. Did you know that we have had 2,812 first-time guests so far this year at New Day? That's 2,812 opportunities to use our gifts to reach people for Jesus. We've had 320 baptisms so far this year. When we use our gifts to serve others, there is incredible kingdom impact. Lives are changed. And so use the gift God has given you to serve others. Now, third, Peter says we should use our gifts to serve others as faithful stewards. There's going to come a time when your alarm is going to go off on a Sunday morning and you don't feel like getting out of bed. There's going to be a time on a Saturday when some friends are going to ask you to go to dinner on the water with them. You'd have to miss Saturday church. There's a real temptation to serve sporadically or half-heartedly. And I want to challenge you. If you really want to help advance the gospel throughout this community and world, be faithful stewards of the gifts that God has given you. And I want to give you two practical ways to do that. Number one is take ownership. You see, when you own something, you're going to treat that differently. When I was growing up, my dad drove this 1987 Volvo. I mean, this thing was a tank. It was huge. And as a kid, I left my food crumbs in there, my trash in there. I complained when he asked me to help wash it on a Saturday. But when I turned 16 and it became my car, I took ownership of it. I kept that car so clean inside and out. I waxed it all on my own. I took it in for whatever maintenance it needed. Why? Because I took ownership of it. You see, when you take ownership of something, it moves you to excellence in every way. You're going to lead your small group with devotion. You're going to lead on stage with excellence. You're going to keep our church's grounds looking sharp so first impressions are strong. Being faithful stewards of our gifts means taking ownership. Now, it also means that we should be consistent. That's the second practical way to apply this, to be consistent. Whatever ministry you serve in, consistency is one of the keys to maximizing your impact, to being faithful. Take, for example, someone serving on the guest experience team. If that person serves at the same service and the same door consistently each week, naturally, they're going to meet and impact the people that walk through that same door every weekend in a greater way than if they serve there infrequently. Or take, for example, children's ministry. Serving in the same classroom at the same service each weekend is going to maximize trust and influence with the parents that drop their kids off, as well as the kids that they're teaching. You see, your consistency in serving and using your gifts can make all the difference. Now, the last couple of months, we've been studying the life of David in our weekend services. And my favorite verse about David isn't found in the Old Testament. It's found in the New Testament book of Acts. In Acts chapter 13, verse 36, it says, "Now when David had served God's purpose in his own generation, he fell asleep. He was buried with his ancestors, and his body decayed." David served God's purpose while alive on this earth. That impact was felt for generations. Over the next year, let's rally together as we serve God's purpose and take Peter's words to heart. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. Beginning this weekend, our ministry teams will begin handing out our new all-in serve shirts. And we ask that you wear that shirt whenever you serve. It'll help bring unity among our ministry teams. It'll highlight our theme verse, 1 Peter 4:10, and invite conversation with those who aren't serving, which we hope you'll use to invite them to begin using their gifts to serve others as faithful stewards.